I formally apologize as President of the United States of America for what we did. I formally apologize.
An impassioned President Joe Biden apologizing on behalf of the nation for decades of abuse and neglect of Native children in federal boarding schools.
18,000 children were taken from their parents and forced to attend those schools until 1969. Nearly 1,000 Native children died and many more never came home. Now, the historic apology is a step in healing for many here in the Northwest.
Today, the Coeur d'Alene tribal chairman watched the president's address. KREM 2's Christian Garza shares his reaction tonight.
That trauma, it really affected tribal people across, the United States.
Trauma which stems from policies that were put in place against Indigenous people across the country more than a century ago.
And their motto was to kill the Indian, save the man.
Coeur d'Alene Tribal Chairman Chief Allen puts into perspective what happened to not just Native American people in our region, but across the country altogether.
We weren't human, we were animals. And so they thought, like, if they rounded us all up, put us in school, they could teach us, English, cut our hair, and do away with our culture.
According to the U.S. Department of Interior, in our region, there were 17 boarding schools in Washington, 7 schools in Idaho, and 19 schools in Montana. Now, if we break that down even further, there were 5 in eastern Washington and 4 in northern Idaho, including one in Coeur d'Alene called Mary Immaculate Sacred Heart Mission, ran by the Catholic Church, which was a school that some of Chairman Allen's own family was taken to, including his yayat, or grandmother.
It was horrible. It was horrific. You wouldn't wish that on anybody, to be beaten, with a stick, to have your hair cut, to have your mouth washed out with soap. These things were horrific.
That's why he says the apology from President Biden meant so much to him and every other family across the country who has been affected by these schools, because it acknowledges the hardships his ancestors went through.
It memorializes it and says, yes, this happened to Indigenous people, and we are sorry for that. And, let's make sure that it doesn't happen again.
While there is still a long way to go, Chairman Allen says this national apology was a beautiful first step towards healing.
It was going through my mind when I was watching it today, because I did watch it today. I was so happy for my yaya, may her spirit rest in peace. I was for all our elders that came before us and to have to endure this kind of trauma. My heart sang.
Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
Residential boarding schools were also sanctioned by the Canadian government for almost 150 years.
And earlier this year, Pope Francis issued an apology on behalf of the church for the years of trauma and abuse inflicted on Indigenous people.